Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Toffee TV. Here is the Everton Daily Live, and we are talking about Big Kev, Big KT, who was vacating the building in June, if not before.
Hashtag thank you, Kevin.
Hashtag thank you, Kevin, which a few people had bounced around at certain times, in nonsensical times. But I'm sure lots of people will say thank you when he goes out the door, because he's been at the club in, it's probably its worst period in recent history, hasn't he? He's had to endure madness that he probably didn't expect when he first took the job. I mean, he was at New York Red Bulls, or in the Red Bull group, wasn't he? And came back to be Everton's director of football, replacing Marcel Brands. Even though we probably knew it wasn't a great time, I don't imagine he thought it'd be as bumpy as what it has been since he come in.
No, I don't think he did he? Yeah, it's. But he did say that you don't get jobs like the Everton job unless things are bad.
Exactly.
Or you're really, really good at your job.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was it, Kev? So it has been really tough for him, and he has been in many ways just had it's like a thankless job, isn't it? Thankless task in many ways, and nothing will ever, I suppose, ever be good enough for what he was given the role to do. So he's, has he made mistakes? Yes, but has he done some positive things? Absolutely. But Everton, it would feel like, or the Friedkin feel like, to go forward, they need someone who's going to fit in more with the dynamic, probably of just David Moyes, if we're being honest, or fits into that. They seem to, or certainly showed in the last 6 months, that they like a manager to be a manager. They like a guy to be on top of things and in charge and dominate that role, and don't want that power diluted by other people, it would seem. Again, Roma got another win at the weekend. They are absolutely flying, and when you add that to, and they've brought someone strong in, a strong character, a strong leader. They've done the same at Everton, and I just think that maybe they think, well, that director of football role, they're not the main guy. Yes, they do contribute hugely to the football club, but it just seems that they want to give more power to the manager, and it's an interesting one, because obviously when we think of like the Americans and the Moneyball and what Liverpool have done, it feels like it's the other way round a little bit. Even though I don't know, I suppose at Liverpool it's gone back and forth. But yeah, he's done remarkably well, I think, at times, to balance the books. I think, but then at other times you can look at some of the signs and think you've wasted money there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's really difficult, isn't it? Every signing's a gamble. No matter how good they look, all you can do when you sign someone's reduce the risk, and that's all you're ever looking to do as a football club, is reduce the risk, give the person the best opportunity to succeed at Everton. Has that always been the case? Don't know. We've still had different players for different managers, which has never really worked. Don't know whether Everton have ever fully had trust in the director of football, if that's the right word. We've never done it. I had this discussion with John last week about what a director of football is in Europe, or a sporting director, and what they are in England, and I don't know whether anyone uses them in the way that they're supposed to be used in England. Maybe Brighton, maybe. But certainly it's the minority of clubs who do it. And I think United have just found this with Dan Ashworth, haven't they? Who of course was linked to Everton last week as well, and over the weekend. What are you expecting in a director of football? Because the role is, it's two different roles. Director of football is someone who directs the football operations, and people often confuse that with the head of recruitment. And I think Manchester United got Dan Ashworth and thought he was head of recruitment, not director of football. And Dan Ashworth very much is a director of football. So Everton could still employ a Dan Ashworth, and I know that he has been up for discussion, but still then employ a head of recruitment, which might be someone who's more closely aligned with David Moyes. I know Mick Doherty's been mentioned a couple of times. Obviously, David Moyes knows him. He's at Atlanta at the moment. And others have been mentioned as well. And I just wonder if that'll be a route that Everton go down, where it's a head of recruitment that's close to David Moyes for now. Is that the correct way to do it? I don't know. Because on paper, my understanding, the vision of a director of football works, or should work in theory. You need someone who buys players for a model which you want to play in, therefore making it easier to replace the manager without having a Frankenstein squad, also giving players the best opportunity to succeed, and means recruitment's a lot easier because you know what you're looking for. Everton haven't done that. They didn't do it under Steve Walsh. He was a chief scout, didn't understand the role. Marcel Brands might have understood the role, did understand the role, but Everton didn't operate like that. And for whatever reason, he probably wasn't as strong with his vision as what he probably thought when he come in the door. And then Kevin Thelwell certainly hasn't done that, but has also had a real difficult time doing it and stuff. So it's where Everton go from here. And like in your opinion right now, like what should they do? Should they just let David Moyes direct things for a couple of years to get us back where we think we belong, or what?
No, I think what they should do is they should already know what they want to do in terms of like with the manager. Now, if they, I fully believe David Moyes will be at Everton, I think, for the next 5 years, personally. I think he will. I think he's shown,
definitely doing 3.
I think he's shown already that the energy he's got for the job and putting people around him. I think he sees it as, if I can put young
coaches, 73 or something.
If he puts young coaches around them and puts that, like, as the likes of, as long as they don't leave, as long as the likes of Baines, I know he's been linked with like Tranmere and stuff, but if I get Seamus in, and if you get young coaches around you, I could see him looking at like the way Ferguson was at Manchester United, of understanding, having that overall understanding of what the situation is around them, and I think that would be. I think with Everton have been like, they know what they want to do. They know, and I think they've known what they've wanted to do for the last few years, but they're simply in the wrong place. They're like they're trying to be like a modern train on an old set of train tracks, and it's up to us to move to a new set of train tracks, and that's what David Moyes will be massively important for, and is massively important for. So I think David Moyes will bring in. He will not dictate, but I think he'll know what's best for Everton Football Club, or what he thinks best for Everton Football Club, because he's an Everton man. And this is where you do cut through all that other stuff of like going, when we talk about like allegiances and stuff like that. People who actually deep down care about the football club want the best for the football club, and will put their own ego and the club first before their own ego, I think, anyway. So I think what's going to happen is, I think they're going to use his experience to dictate what kind of director of football they need next. And I think that will be somebody who, in alignment with the new CEO, will try and get Everton into a position where off the pitch it's organised. It's moving forward. There'll be an alignment with the academy. The standards will go up. Everyone will be reaching to try and get the best people. But I do think David Moyes and a head of recruitment will be the people who try and dictate the transfer policy. But then all the other stuff, and I think that'll be. I think again, you just mentioned it there. Somebody David Moyes knows, and that could be like a David Weir as well. Somebody he knows, somebody he trusts, somebody who works, who they understand him and he understands them. So you're not getting people who are coming in and instantly butting heads because they're from. You know, I've said it on many occasions with Emery. Emery was given the keys to Villa. And people might say, well, if he left at any time, well, make sure he doesn't leave then. Yeah. Make sure, like, everything's there. So he's so happy. So obviously he brought Monchi in as his director of football, 2 people who've worked together so well. So if you can't have this thing of, like, if he left tomorrow, what would happen? Well, don't let him leave then. Make the club so good and so secure that he doesn't want to leave. And you give him the faith that it's like, mate, we have some good results, we have some bad results, but we're not going to sack you. This is your club for the next 5 years to do. And then over that 5 years, you start to, how are you going to move to the next direction? I think there's this thing in football which has become so, I don't know what the right word is, but I think there's just been, like we're always talking about succession planning. I think there's too much of that at times. I think there's too much thinking, what's the next thing? Oh, you have to plan for the future. You have to plan. Why aren't we planning for this? I think that's happened so much at Everton in the last few years.
Because everything's become in vogue, though. It became in vogue to have young coaches and then the next coach, and where are we going to be in 5 years, and where are we going to be in 7 years, and that plan always gets moved. The needle always gets moved to the next 5-year plan and the next 5-year plan, when really right now we're all in it right now. We're living, I've said this lots of times, we're all getting older, we're all living, it's only now. Doesn't matter what the plan looks like in 5 years, because it could go off track. So you have to keep a view of what's going on now. Isn't it nice to just miss Everton not playing at the weekend? It's been a bloody while.
It's nice to live in the now, isn't it? But I do think that you're right. There's too much, I think, at times of being, we're planning for the future. Well, you should always be planning for the future, but I just don't get this thing at times where it's like we're going to disrupt what's happening now for the future, a future that might never come. Of course, you plan for the future. You look at, you plan for the future by saying we've got these players in the youth team and the academy, and we've got these players in our first team that are out of contract, and this is how we're gonna and we're gonna let a Dominic Calvert-Lewin leave on a free transfer because actually we've got this kid coming through in the academy, and that's how it works, and that's how it. I think at times footballs can be made very, very complicated by people who are looking to just looking far too down the road. Of course, you have to have a plan, because you got to know how things are going to lock into each other as you go forward. Yeah. As like Brighton have shown, of like, you go down a path and you work towards something and you don't get distracted by other things. So the results aren't going amazingly. You look at the plan and say, well, we stick to the plan because it's working, and you keep going to that place. And that's fine, I get that. And that's not what I'm saying about Everton, because David Moyes can say we're working to a plan. But the first thing you got to do is you got to have that trust, haven't you, in the director of football. And I think this goes back to what we're talking about. Is like, I'm not completely. It seems like the Friedkin group want a clean slate. Want to bring in someone who's aligned with David Moyes, aligned with the new CEO, and say this is the starting point of something. So. And we don't want to like overlap from stuff that we've been doing already and bloody the waters a little bit. So it's part of a plan. It's part of going forward. And that's the point. You need a starting plan, don't you? You need a starting plan. And as David Moyes keeps on saying, he's like, he'll start maybe enjoying things once he knows we're safe. He's talked about not going down to the stadium till we're safe. He's like, everything he says it's that clear message of like, we need to get safe first.
I mean, we are safe now.
No, I know we are, but it's like it's a mentality thing, isn't it?
No, but it's for the rest of the players.
That's a mentality.
I was saying this last week. It's like giving a message out that was safe means players can take the foot off the pedal. And what he's trying to do right now is assess whether these lads have got the ability to take a foot off a pedal.
Yeah.
Because if they haven't, we don't want them next season either. Doing great at the moment. They're playing to a level that I suspect that they had all season, but were given the wrong direction. And the other thing as well is, this is, I suppose, I think me and John were talking about this on Friday. There's a real, right now, Everton have got to get as many points possible quickly because the planning has to start for next season because there's so many out of contract and he needs to change it. But also, he's in a little bit of a thing, a flux situation, because there's lads there who are gonna need to be thrown in before the end of the season for him to make a decision. I'm talking Nathan Patterson.
Yeah,
we know whether it, Chimiti.
Yeah.
The lad started one game last season and he hasn't been available all season. And okay, great, he was back on the bench at Brentford, but he was only there as a name. He was never ever coming on the pitch. Now he's been training in the UAE and all that, and he'll be in the squad at the weekend. But he's got to get a go. Is he good enough to replace Beto? Probably not yet, but is he good enough to go, he's a serious striker for us? Or do we have to go, we need to, Marcel, you're going to take this kid for a year at PSV? That kind of thing, because Moyes has got to look at all of those positions so that it can formulate the plan for the summer. Because there's
other reasons as well. I think that we need to finish the season strong. I think that the other
money as well.
Money, and I think the other thing is if you finish the season strong and you finish in those higher up positions in the bottom half of the table, then people can go, well, look out. It's
an easier sell. Momentum.
Look where you finished and look at the points you got, and yeah. So. No, I think people need to be assessed, and that'll be the next thing. It'll be assessed, and then that starts your planning for the summer. And I think with Kevin Thelwell as well, I think it's because he's brought in by obviously different people, a different plan for him as well, and I feel sorry for him in many ways, because I think a director of football, and we often use the Moneyball thing, don't we? It's like, if you don't play the players that he brings in, then if there's a plan for some of these players and you don't play them, then it dictates how people look at you. And Jake O'Brien's the best example. When Jake O'Brien wasn't playing, people were having a go at Kevin Thelwell and saying, why did you waste £16 million on this player when we needed that £16 million to buy a winger or a striker or something? And then the next minute he starts playing and people realise how good he is. And people go, what an amazing buy. And it makes Sean Dyche look very, very stupid for not playing him. And it suddenly elevates Kevin Thelwell, and people go, wow, if only that fella had played him. And that goes back to the Moneyball thing where he sells the player, because he's like, no, I picked a player to play there, and you're playing someone else, so I'm selling that player, so you can't do that anymore. And it does go back to that. It's like, Beto's a really good example as well. It's like, if he's scoring goals and he's in form, then you look at him and go, well, that 30 million is a snip. Now, I mean, that we won't know that for another couple of years, if he stays a couple of years, obviously. But if players aren't playing, then to everyone, it's like, they're obviously terrible. They're obviously terrible. Like you mentioned it before, Nathan Patterson's and one where you look at it and say,
we've ruined him.
You look at him and go, what a really bad signing. It's not played, hardly played in what comes to 3 years.
Over 3 years.
Yeah, gone past 3 years. Sorry, yeah. 3 years. What a terrible signing. Injury prone. We should. But then, if he'd started in the team when Michalenko started. Because you look at Michalenko and you go, it was a decent bar that in terms of a squad player, and he's come through and he's played all those games and he's finally got an assist. He's come through all those games and we've got a good squad, Premier League squad player now. And yet Patterson, because he never got started straight away in the team. Yeah. And, I know this is pre-Thelwell as well. They were both pre-Thelwell, so it's not a Thelwell thing, this, by the way. But it is how you look at players and how their journey starts and how they get along. And Michalenko's got 3 years of experience as a Premier League player. Patterson's hardly got any as a Premier League experience. You just mentioned Chimiti there. Chimiti, 12 million quid. When we brought him in, we were all like, not sure about this. Last season, up to the sort of the end part of the season, we were like, I haven't really seen any of this kid at all. Then he comes on a couple of games for Dom and you go, yeah. Starts the Brentford game because Dom doesn't play and Beto was concussion, yeah. And you're like, oh, he did all right there. And then he comes on at Luton and you're like, oh, he's ahead of Beto. Yeah. And then everyone had high hopes from this season. And it's more because this season it's become one of those where like he's got better because he hasn't played. Yeah. But again, it's like, you can't make a judgment on him. If he'd had a bad season, you're like, what a terrible team. Or if he hadn't been playing, and he was fit. But if he plays and he's had a good season, everyone's raving about another one that Kevin Thelwell got us.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's where the director of football lives and dies, isn't it? But again, with Thelwell though, I do think he had a chance to set the narrative in some ways this season, and I don't think he did set the narrative. I think he let the other fella set the narrative, and I think that's partly what for me has sunk him, of the stay up, get to the stadium mentality, which is what got us 17 points at the halfway point. Is that mentality got us there, and the new manager David Moyes just come in with a mentality of, well, I have to be incredibly more ambitious than that, because this is the position you've put me into, and maybe you had those ambitions. And I think the director of football has to embody those ambitions from the very start of, like, not like, you know, but I think
got to be able to get in front of a camera and speak.
Well, and he hasn't been great at doing that in terms of like enough. But when he has done it, he comes across all right. Across all right. I don't think some people can't get over the fact that he's a red. Let's be honest. That's another point. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, or, you know, a wavy thing or not, people can't get over the fact that he's a red, and that also plays a part in it, you know. And
we had that last from someone put on, a few people on the comments last week when the news broke. Thank God we're wearing out the Reds. That's Dwight gone and that's Thelwell gone, and whether it's the real thing or not, people look at it. People look at that, and because that's the first thing you go to. It's like this. I was laughing the other day in some of the comments at the. That I'd seen on Instagram, I think yesterday or something, with the lads training in the UAE on the warm weather, and it's like I was saying this to Maria, it was like, Everton have gone warm weather training before when they haven't been in form, and everyone's lost their mind. Yeah. Get into Finch Farm 10 hours a day in the snow, because we're on a great run. Everyone's like, it's right, lads, everyone enjoy, and it's like, the players deserve a break.
Moyes sent them to New York for a weekend, and literally it was just a piss up.
Dwight McNeil's in America.
No, he's in Miami. We spoke about it yesterday, but he's actually showed. But
fair play to him.
Moyes sent them to New York for a weekend just because they'd done well, and he sent them on the piss for a weekend. That was their reward.
But that's it. And
Moyes has done that loads of times.
People can't be losing that, and no one has on this occasion. I'm just saying, but that's how fickle it can be.
Well, Allardyce took them over there, didn't he?
Well, yeah,
when we had
a break.
No, I mean,
he should have a break.
I don't think people quite understand that. Warm weather training is no
really
joke.
Beneficial.
No joke, really and it's really beneficial for them,
and
as well.
And it's good for Moyes. Simple. And to be fair, I haven't seen anyone.
I've seen a couple.
Actually. Okay, I hadn't seen it, but
more like Facebook.
It's well, there you go. Facebook. It's not real.
No, it is. It scarily is real. It is scarily real for some people.
But anyway. Yeah, it's all a bit mad.
I think Thelwell though will walk into another job, and he can walk out of Everton with his head held high. Like, I wouldn't. Again, I do find that you mentioned it when we started, the director of football role. I think when it goes bad, it goes. You know, you can see it going bad. I don't think that it's gone. I always think it comes down to the players. The manager, and whether he plays the players the right way. And the director of football will offer up players to a manager, and it's up to them. And we know, I mean, we were told to our faces that Dyche doesn't do that, but we have evidence right in front of us at football matches that Sean Dyche turned his nose up at players that he was given. It's out there. It's there to be seen. There's opportunities to play certain players, and he didn't do it.
To sign players.
But I think it's even worse though when it's players who've been bought though. I think. Well,
look at Iraburum. We were told quite clearly that Dyche had no interest in him.
No.
When Everton got him, he was just like, get him on loan. And then because they had a couple, because he had to go with them to Ireland because they had a couple of players missing. He obviously impressed, and Dyche was like, actually, he's all right to him, yeah. I just don't think you can operate like that. You got to look at the whole thing. And anyway, Mark G on the Super Chat says, hey guys, how many new players do you think we need this summer, not counting those who might try to re-sign, like Ghana? I think a left back, a right back, a striker, a left wing, a right wing, and a centre mid. That's only 6.
I think it might need 2 right wingers. Yeah, all of the above. All of the above. Centre back as well. I think we'll need a centre back as well. Yeah, I think the whole spine needs to be strengthened with almost first choice players as well. And then I think we need two right wingers. But then
Can't see Lindstrom coming back.
no, only on loan.
Yeah, I'd keep him on loan if you give him on loan. But again, still looking and going saying this with James last week. It's like no matter how you cut it, dress it up. Our 2 wide players are really hard working and they do a good job, but neither of them scored a goal or created a goal. And that, you can't put all of that pressure on the likes of Beto and go, well, you've got to score because no one else has got a goal in them. So your right back has to come up with a goal at Brentford, where if we had like a goal scoring wide players,
I'd like to see Lindstrom with a pre-season and have that second season in the Premier League. But I wouldn't pay the 20 million quid for him. No. But I'd like to see that. I think there's an option. I think if we could get him on loan again, I can't see anyone paying 20 million for him. And I think if Everton are clever and the way sort of the finances are in Italian football, as long as Everton just basically paid a loan fee and maybe his wages, then I think we'd get him without a problem. And that comes. And I think Moyes will like him because
Moyes liked them at West Ham. We wanted to buy him for West Ham.
Moyes likes that story as well. I think you can reinvent plays. Harrison, don't know, maybe the new CEO knows something we don't. Might know something in the that's in the contract or something that you can pick apart. But no, we need loads. It'll be more again. It'll be who we keep, isn't it? You've mentioned Garner there. I'm still of the mindset that Decore will get another year because I just don't see how you can drop first team players right out of your squad and get rid of them. I think if someone's playing week in and week out, I think you've got to offer them another year. And I think Decore will be offered another. Well, I think there is something in his contract apparently that we can trigger it. I just can't see how you can drop someone out your first team and they literally just go. I can't. Your Keanes of the world, they go and. There'll be a few others, but I think they'll try and work as many of the ones who were. I think Dom and Keane will go 100%. Past that, I think João Virginia will go, and I think if
we've got an option on now, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. But if we could we might trigger the option and then sell him.
Yeah.
Because I do think that he's a good. I'd love to keep him as a number 2. I think he's a brilliant number 2. But I think you have to start your career at some point. That's what I'm saying. You have to start your career at some point, don't you? But I do think. I think just right now, I think Ashley Young will go as well. I think Ashley Young, Michael Keane, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Those 3 will absolutely, I think, go. I think all the rest have got a decent chance of staying. As long as we can work the 2 loan deals again. Don't know, any more you can think of?
Begovic.
I think we'll keep Begovic because it's
neither here nor there. I imagine he's not on a lot.
Gets paid in hay.
Keane will go because they'll want a new centre back. And obviously they've got O'Brien. Branthwaite, I mean, a lot of stuff coming out that he's leaning towards staying.
But Branthwaite's one that we don't have to sell, so it doesn't.
No, that's what I mean. I'm saying is the more.
I still don't know who could buy him.
I said this last week.
I just don't know.
And if you're I said it, and I can't. It's like the first time I've really thought this lately. Is that like, who cares if United come? If I'm him, I ain't going nowhere near that place. They are a shambles.
I don't think
they shambles.
Rooney said it, didn't he?
I just don't think they.
Has he?
Yeah, he said he was doing punditry after something, and he said. I don't get why players don't want to go to Man United anymore. No. And if he's coming out saying that,
I just don't know how they could afford them.
They wouldn't be. I don't think.
I just don't think they could afford them. I don't think
they want 80, 90 million.
I don't think they've got centre backs, and I just can't see how they could go. We're going to give them at least 60 million. Bottom line, 60 million. That's the bottom. Where are they finding 60 million from? And then they need a centre forward. Yeah. They need a centre forward. This is the kid who plays the front is just nowhere near good enough. Just doesn't have the. He doesn't have the arrogance to play for Manchester.
I'd have Højlund. I'd
No,
say
he can play for us.
If Everton got him,
He can play for us. He doesn't have the arrogance to play for Manchester. He doesn't have the.
That's just not good enough.
Had Lenny Yoro as well, who was meant to be like the next.
No, and that's what I'm saying.
He's where the 60s. They should have. They should have really just paid Everton.
I honestly, without being funny, Real Madrid are the only place I could see Brandtweight going. Genuinely, could see.
No, Liverpool won him, but Everton ain't selling him to Liverpool. Not a chance. So, and I just wanted to address the 2 West Ham players from yesterday. Shut up. That's all I'm saying. 39-year-old right back or something who's not good enough anyway, and shoot you.
We were linked with a 20-year-old, weren't we, Club Brugge centre back?
Oh, do you? But 40 million.
No, I know.
So yeah, it's going to be really interesting because it's what do you do with it? You're looking at it and going, why would you keep Decore? Okay, I don't understand what you're saying. He's in the team, but it's another few months away. I personally wouldn't keep him. He's done well for Everton. I think he's been a good signing for Everton. Not amazing, but I think he's been a good signing. But if he said I'll take half wages, yeah, but he's £5 million a year for him.
But can you really see a player who starts every game leaving the club?
You've got a chance to just move the whole needle the other way.
I think that's very unwise. Never mind.
Yeah, but I just think, why? No, you're probably right, but I'm just looking, going, if it's me, I'm thinking £5 million a year for him, when I can just get a 20-year-old who'll be on 30 grand a week, who could do and score goals and actually can control a football. It can change what you do. Decore's been a good signing. I think for me, it's Garner or Decore. That should be the decision. It's either Idrissa that gets a new one or Decore does.
I think they'll both get new ones.
No, but they probably will, because but me personally, I wouldn't. Because I actually just think that Alcaraz is actually better, and it's just a better player. And I'd rather put effort and time into him to develop him, because I think he's just more cultured. He's got a goal in him, you can tell. I think Decore's diminishing the turns now. He's doing really well.
I actually think they're a really good crossover, though. I think they're a really good crossover, because I think Alcaraz doesn't cover the ground.
He's 31 or 30.
No, I know, but I think that's why it's a good. I think that's why it's a. It doesn't have to be $5 million a year, though.
It will if he stays.
It doesn't have to be $5 million a year. I think they're a really good.
If he takes a pay cut, fine.
I think they're a really good crossover, because I think Alcaraz is still got.
Oh, he's wet behind.
He's still got loads to do, and I think Timmy Abunam has still got a little year to develop as well. And I think when you're talking about, again, squads and trying to keep squads together, I think you do need that crossover. And I just think about it is, if you've got Decore in there and you've got, say, an Alcaraz and an Abunam, you've already got 2 people at the club that are going to take that role.
But I also think Moyes wants another midfield player, and you've also got Idrissa, and you've got James Garner, and then what happens with Harrison? And then all of a sudden you're going, now he's got 8
but Decore and Garner have only got 1 more year in them, though. Let's be honest.
No, but if you, all right, so you've got it. So just say everyone stay, and listen, I'm not saying that Decore won't stay, because it wouldn't surprise me if he does stay. But I'm saying you've got Idrissa, Decore, James Garner, Timmy Abunam, Charlie Alcaraz. Then you bring Harrison Armstrong. Harrison
Armstrong needs another year, doesn't he?
Right,
let's be honest, he does,
so we've got 5.
Yeah, 5 for 6 positions.
And Dwight McNeil.
That's Dwight. I just don't see Dwight McNeil as part. I'd sell Dwight McNeil.
No, well, Everton probably will, but I'm saying there's them. But we do need another player.
No, I agree.
Because I know
that's
Moyes
5.
wants to dominate, someone to dominate the midfield.
That's 5 out of 6 positions.
5, yeah. So maybe Harrison
I just think
goes on a year loan.
I think Harrison needs another year. I think Harrison Armstrong needs another year. I think if we throw him in next year, I think it's a year too early. He's not getting games at Derby County, so I think that's a year too early. The progression needs another year. I just think that Garner would definitely stay, and I think just Decore is like that little safety blanket for the manager. That he's always. You've got that. The key thing for me is you've got the replacements at the club. That's the thing, and you can then identify that number 6. I think it's number 6 that we need.
It is the number 6. It is. It is.
Because I can't see it being. It's not going to be.
Look at Idrissa the other day. Yeah. Idrissa was knackered at Brentford, and Moyes had to take him off when he did, because he just looked tired, didn't he? He had no one who can do that role. So, and Abunam, he's definitely not a 6. So he's more of an 8 or a 10, isn't he? So you got to let him develop into that role as well. And Decore should realistically become a sub this year. It's just whether or not Everton we'll pay you 5 million a year to be a
The
sub.
thing about the Corey is though, he's hardly ever injured.
No, he's always fit. And he can go through the middle if you need him to. He could probably play up front if you need him to, simply to press and be in the right place. So I get why he would. And there will be these decisions that I wouldn't do, that they probably will, because you're looking and going, we can't bring 12 or 13
That's the main
players.
thing.
Just
That's
can't
the main
do
thing.
it. So you have to look and go, well,
It's easier to trigger another year for somebody and go, well, then we don't need to replace him, so we can go and get that other player. So we're not,
Michael Keane will...
and we're not going to go back for Mangala.
No, Mangala's out till... I'm seeing people go and just sign him anyway. No, he done really well. But
James Garner's done...
He spent 30 million on him or something.
Exactly, you just can't. He's 26 or 27. His knee's gone.
Yeah.
He's out till the new year, probably.
Yeah.
And James Garner's done better
And
than
James
him.
Garner, I don't know whether he's done better, but he's done okay.
I think he's done
And
better
we aren't
than him.
missing him massively.
No,
that's
that's the best thing,
big
isn't it?
So you go, well, we need another one then.
Well, what would you do with McNeil? Because I'm seeing a few people talk about him in the comments. I just don't see where McNeil gets into this team.
McNeil can't play on the left wing because Njai's there.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take Njai out the team, it's got to be for someone who's explosive, who's got pace. That's how you'd have to do it.
Can't play on the right.
You could play Illy on the right.
You're moving...
But then you're moving people about.
Yeah.
Because
Right,
really,
you can't play on the right either.
people should be looking for realistically, where you're building it, you should be looking for Njai to go behind the striker, really. Yeah. But, and on the right-hand side, Dwight McNeil can't play, no pace, zero pace.
2 1-footers as well.
So therefore, you could make a case for him being a backup left side if Njai's not there. Right, so he becomes a squad, which is what you should do.
Yeah.
If you've got Dwight McNeil sat on the bench, you're in a better place, because he was starting.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden he's the sub, so that's okay. We are crying out for a explosive right winger. We're absolutely crying out for it. We need two. If that's where if I'm buying, a lot of my investments going there, players who can do damage in the final third. We need another centre forward because Dom's gone. Breuer, you see, I'd love Breuer, a fit Breuer for a season to see what he's like.
Yeah.
But I'm looking now
isn't it?
going, Everton aren't buying him. There's zero chance, right? Because he might come back for 4 or 5, 6. He might play 8 games at the end, right? That isn't triggering anything because he can't demonstrate anything. And now I'm looking and going, even if Chelsea said to me, you can have him again on loan for a year, you're looking and going, all right, well, that's all right because he can play there, but is there any guarantee he's going to be fit?
You can't be dependent on him. And it's taken up a loan spot where you could have got
exactly.
else.
So I think so he goes.
Do you know the only place I could see McNeil playing genuinely is like
left back?
It's like, well, a left back. No, he could play, but he'd have to improve. It's like a deep line midfielder. That's the only place I could see him playing.
He's done okay in midfield, like centre. He's
got energy. He's just not quick enough.
No, he's not quick, but he does get it.
And he's also massively one-footed. But like, I just don't see I don't see a role for him in this team because he is, and I'm afraid to say, he is the poster child of the Dyche era. He is someone who got loads of assists because of set pieces. And that's just
special teams, isn't it?
That's the truth of it.
He is. He's special. We've not delivery from set plays is excellent.
We've not. Let's get this right. We have not missed them one tiny inch.
We just missed them off the bench, I think.
We've not.
I think we've missed that.
But we haven't missed them in the first team.
Under Dyche, we missed them. Under Moyes.
No, exactly. We haven't missed them because he hasn't got the energy.
We've missed Njai, haven't we?
Oh, we've missed
even though the results are saying we're still doing well. But I think we had Njai against. Who knows against Liverpool if he'd have stayed on? We'd have probably beat them. We'd have battered United with Njai at home. We would. We'd have tore them apart because we did anyway. So we would have just at 2-0 him stretching them. We'd have been out of sight. And we missed them at Brentford. We did. Harrison's done all right. He works his socks off, but he doesn't create anything, does he? And
doesn't take you up the pitch.
No, and Lindstrom.
Like Njai does.
Doesn't buy the time on the book.
Gets you up the pitch and then he wins those fouls and stuff. But
no, McNeil. Listen, Dwight McNeil. I've said it. If you were playing like 3-5-2, he'd be a perfect wing back because he'd automatically be higher up the pitch for you.
Yeah.
And then his ability to put a ball in the box with 2 strikers to aim for, he'd be fine there on that side. Could he turn into a left back? I don't think defensively he's good enough. No. But could Moyes? I don't know.
I just don't think you can be that one-footed also. Not in modern football. I just don't think you can be that one-footed.
But Moyes, we'll I'll be
It could be our James Ward-Prowse.
I'll be happy to have him back towards the end of the season because we want the squad.
He's a squad player, and actually now he has to fight to get into the team, and it'll just be really interesting. And like you've got,
who knows what Moyes will do with him?
I do worry. I just don't think he'll be back this season. You know,
really?
Well, he's in Miami.
He's not a good look.
He's in Miami.
That's not good, is it?
That's not good. Like Njai's on a bike
out there.
No. Like Njai's on a bike out there. Like, and this lad's
Brogues back as well.
Brogues back, and this lad's. I'm not. He's on holiday. Obviously, the club have given him time off, like they give everyone. They took everyone else away. There's no point. But the fact that he's in Miami, that's like unless he's got some kind of treatment plan over there. Maybe he's going to see a specialist or something. I don't know.
Knee as well, isn't it?
But that's worrying. That he's not around
because he's not played since December.
Because the talk is...
He came out of nowhere as well, because he was playing games.
Did he?
No, the
he
talk...
played against Wolves.
The talk is the knee kept on filling up with fluid.
Oh, okay.
So that's why. The knee kept on... Every time he played, and he thought he was coming back, the knee kept on filling up with fluid. So he's obviously had an operation.
Yeah, his last game was Wolves.
Yeah, so...
I've seen him since Wolves.
And if he's not...
December the 7th.
Came off on the 17th.
And if he's not training with the rest of the team, then... That's worrying. That I'd be very surprised if we get him.
He's been
back.
out 3 months, hasn't he? So if he does come back, it's probably late April, early May, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2 games at the end of the season. Have to see. But
you're absolutely right. By the way, I have been after McNeil from day one because I just don't think he's good enough to play for Everton Football Club. I've got no problem saying that. All the evidence is on every video. I don't think he's a good enough footballer. I have no issue saying that.
I wish we had him in the squad. I do, because I also wish we had Dom on the bench. Wouldn't put Calvert-Lewin in before Beto at all, because even at Brentford, but at least Beto was in the right place to miss them. So, and Dom had that game at Ipswich, by the way, earlier in the season when he missed 3 1-on-1s. But I wish Dom was on the bench, and I wish McNeil was on the bench, and I wish Seamus was on them. It doesn't mean I think Seamus should be starting, but I want all of our players available. I want the manager to be able to go after an hour. McNeil, get on. You want
a situation where you know that if you're playing on a Saturday and you're playing on a Wednesday, you can bring 3 fresh players in. Now, we won't have to do that again this season. We won't have to do that again this season, apart from after the derby when we play Arsenal. But it's you need that squad. You need players who are around. You can't be relying on the same players all the time. That's why this weekend was a good opportunity for them to go away and get a bit of a breakers in from the normal stuff. But
that's good anyway, because it gives him a chance to get to know everyone properly. It's been all on the go since he come in, hasn't it? And it's a little bit of bonding while you're away always helps, I think, and it'll just reaffirm what they're doing. And they all look quite happy with a bit of sun on the back, don't they, in the UAE? So good luck to them. Gary Waters Hardy One says hello from Sweden. Ian says what's next after Thelwell? Hopefully David Weir. Not so purple. He says a bonus that Cunha is out for the Everton game at the weekend. Yeah, very much. Mark says let's just go back to the Mosh way and buy a load of number 10s with no pace. Yeah. Sure, it was reckless, but we had good times. Sleepy says, Baz, did you see Macha Beereth scored his 3rd hat-trick for Monaco since January? He's got 10 goals in 7 games. He's gone full Jelavic. He had 11 and 16 in Austria before they signed him. Arsenal look mad for letting him go for only £4 million in the summer, especially with their lack of strikers. He only just turned 22. There's a few of them now, isn't there, bobbling around. Although I still want Burkhardt from Mainz. That's who I'd be going for in the summer. He's flying at Mainz. Benjamin James says I wouldn't look for another Doff. I'd look for another manager with David Moyes and move Moyes upstairs when his contract runs out.
Okay.
But what? Have 2 managers. Eddie says outside of signing Mopai and being able to sign a player that's quick, I think he's done a good job for limited resources. I mean, Mopai was terrible. It was a terrible signing, wasn't it? It was just a terrible signing.
It was a disaster.
Roderick Cassar says, I don't feel Thelwell has done a horrendous job.
No.
Signing of Mopai, a.k.a. Wanks, and the Nonto. Sarg failure to sign a rapid winger makes me question his competency. Suppose with...
You also can't live...
Money.
You can't live off players you didn't sign, are they?
No, that's because it's easy. We can all say, oh, well, I could tell you Lionel Messi was great at 7. Yeah, There's lots of ones saying we tried to buy him and we tried to buy him, but everyone could probably say that.
Just in the comments, right, for the Dwight McNeil lovers, where does he get in this team? Where would you play him in this team? I'd love to have your opinions. Where does he get in this team? Who does he replace? Who's he in the team instead of? Let me know in the comments.
Let me do a poll.
No, just let people just comment. Because polls, it'd be like yes and no, and it'd be difficult.
Does he get back into the team?
No, I'd like to know where people think he would get in the team. Because I don't see a position for him. I think the way we're playing at the moment, we're having the number 10 has to press really high and have that energy. Yeah. And that's why Decore's been getting in the team, because he can press and he takes the slack off Beto as well, and it becomes almost like a 4-4-2. So I'd be really interested to know where people think he'd get in the team. That's all I'm asking. Change my mind. That's all I'm saying to you. I see him as a squad player. I just don't know where to get in this team. Either of you, tell me where he gets in this team.
He won't get in the Moyes team in where he was playing with Dyche. I don't think Moyes would put. I think he would if he needed. Like if we were struggling, he might try him back in the 10. But I think he likes the core there, and he'd like. I think you're gonna see the likes of Charlie Alcaraz in that role.
Does he get in the number 10 ahead of Charlie Alcaraz?
No, not for me. Okay. Just because Charlie Alcaraz does a lot of the other stuff that Dwight doesn't do.
Is there any players that from like the old Everton or even the current West Ham team that are sort of similar to Dwight McNeil in a way where you could...
Ward Prowse. That's what I'm saying. Deep line midfielder. Yeah. That's the only...
Moyes didn't even play him, no, did he?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the only position I think he could get in, is in like James Garner's role position. But he'd have to lay in that role, and that's difficult. Yeah. That's the only, honestly.
I think he's a decent squad player. I think he could be in the squad. It's just if you're looking at him getting in a team, it depends what you want. Do you want Everton to go up levels, or do you just want to hold on to people? Yeah. That's what you'd have to look at. A couple saying don't sell him. Sophie says get rid of him. Where are we? Yeah.
I think people have to, don't get you, I think you have to separate what he did in the Dyche team, because what he did in the Dyche team was very specific. It was set pieces, and I think we play differently now. We play at a higher tempo and we play higher up the pitch, and our fullbacks are higher up the pitch. So it is different. So it's...
KB says McNeil needs to retrain as a left back if he wants anything above being a relegation fighter. Rodzik wants to play him as an attacking midfield player.
Instead of who, though?
Because he can carry the ball well and he can shoot.
But instead of who?
No, he can't. I don't disagree with that. It's the other stuff, though, isn't it? Sorry, these keep dropping. Semi-Charm Life says squad depth's a major issue. He's right. Daniel says McNeil has talent, but he is a star in the Championship relegation fodder squad play. Doesn't get in any of the better sides. Marty likes McNeil. Paul says left-footed McNeil with his intelligence is what we're missing. Where are we missing him? That's what I'm asking. Where does he get in? Where does he get in? He's an intelligent player. I personally just don't think he's fast enough. I've never thought he's fast enough. So why would you play Alcaraz on the wing and play him in the centre? That doesn't make sense. Anyway. Wayne says McNeil lost the race against the slug. You can't take it past the player. Bertica says, I don't think Dwight's good enough for the Premier League. I think he's good enough for the Premier League. Royal Brew Rich says McNeil could carry the water bottles. That's harsh. That's a bit harsh. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, aren't they? I'm just saying, if you want Everton to be better, then they need better quality, and therefore he wouldn't get in. If you want Everton to be 15th in the league and just keep doing what they've been doing, then maybe he will get in, and that means maybe Michael Keane should play as well and other people. But It's always about going up. Everton are only going to get better by having quicker, stronger, more creative players who can get more goals. That's just a fact. That's how you improve.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I personally don't think McNeil could do what the Corey does for the team, as in the high press, the aggression, and the physicality, and making it a 4-4-2. Doesn't mean the Corey's amazing, by the way, but I don't think McNeil could do that job. I don't think he could do that.
Nordic sniffle, yeah, I would. If you're being honest, I'm agreeing with you. If you had to give me a choice to keep Jack Harrison or Dwight McNeil, I'd keep Dwight McNeil.
I wouldn't.
I actually think
I wouldn't buy Jack Harrison over Dwight McNeil.
I think he's got way more to offer. I mean, Jack works hard. I think I've seen someone go, McNeil works his socks off. I don't agree with that. I don't.
Would you swap for Lindstrom? Say if Napoli were open to just a straight swap.
McNeil for Lindstrom?
Yeah, he'd do well in Italy, McNeil.
He'd probably do very well in Italy. Skillful with the left foot. I still think I don't know with Lindstrom, because Lindstrom's never been played in this position since he's been here. He's not a right winger. He's an attacking midfield player who we've put on the right. But he is quick. If you're asking me who scores more goals over the season, if they both play 38 games, Dwight McNeil will get more than Lindstrom. But if you're asking me who's a better outball, then Lindstrom's a better outball because he's quicker. And Lindstrom should have a couple of assists. He should also have a couple of goals by now, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's missed some assists, yes, but he really has. And also he's created some chances that other people have missed. And it does all come down to things like that. Dwight McNeil is a good squad player, and if Everton are going to keep him as a good squad player, I've got no issue with it. But I still expect us to buy better anyway, because I really like Alcaraz. I expect Everton to buy better. Beto's great, but I expect Everton to buy better. You know, great as in I love the hard work and I love the fact he's scoring, but I still want a better striker than him. You know, that's how you have to look at it. I think Tarkowski's been a great signing for Everton. I really do. He's been brilliant. I still would love Everton to go and buy a younger, better centre-back who went in. You know, that might be Jake O'Brien, but I don't know, but you know what I mean? So you're always looking. Jordan Pickford's England's goalkeeper. Everton should be looking for better than Pickford. Be looking all over the gaff for better than Pickford.
Just on again.
That's how you get better.
Should you get in Everton's team because you can take a good set piece?
No, that's kids' football right there. You can't get in because you take a good free kick. You just can't. That can't be why you get in the team. You can't. I'm not having that.
It's like you're trying to have an argument with me.
I'm saying
you know my opinion on
Has someone said that?
No, I'm putting it out there. There's this thing of like you have to get better. You have to buy better. You have to buy better players. You can't. I don't know. Again, maybe I've got my own obviously things, but I've never saw it with McNeil. I've never saw it. He's a player who runs around a bit and he's got a really good left foot, but I don't get it. I've never got it, and I never will get it because I just don't think he's. I want a player who's got the full package, and I that's me, and maybe that's my own bias, and that's fair enough. And I get when other people, but I don't think you can get into a football team because you can take set pieces. I think that instantly just you go, well, what's the rest of the team doing then? Like if your team, and don't get me wrong, we stopped scoring goals when McNeil went out the team, and literally that was the downfall of Dyche, McNeil getting injured. But what did that say about the rest of the team? What did that say about how we were playing these players? And yet a new manager come in and went, well, I don't have that way of playing. I have a different way of playing. And it doesn't require someone to take amazing set pieces. It requires the whole team to play higher up the pitch and to press higher and to go after teams and want to win games of football. I said this last week when I wasn't here, sorry, said it on. If Everton had lost the game against Brentford 2-1 the last minute, I wouldn't have been disappointed. No. Because what I saw was a team trying to win a game in the last minute.
The 94th minute, we were flying.
We were trying to win a game in the last minute, and I wouldn't have been disappointed. Of course, you would be like, oh, I'm disappointed we lost the game. But I wouldn't have been like, why weren't we all sitting in? I was like, wow, we're trying to win a game in the 94th minute.
What we said last week.
And that's the difference for me.
Night and day.
That's the difference.
United was the same. I thought the United game in injury time, they looked more likely to win it because we were flying forward and yet we nearly won it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's risk and reward. And, you know, Mark says McNeil could easily do what Decore does. I don't think he could, Mark. He could do Decore can't do some things McNeil can do. There's no bloody doubt about that. I think what Decore does, and he's just quicker and more rangy than McNeil. And he sort of understands that role. And you've just heard me half an hour ago saying I'd get rid of Decore because there's better out there. I wouldn't get rid of him to play McNeil there. I'd go and get better because that's what it's about. Gary Mina 2 says McNeil is too slow for the top level, sadly. Technically very good, though.
Yeah,
he's a squad player now, and that's football. That's what it's about, isn't it? So the manager will see what he does. But a lot of the people who go, we want this and we want that, right?
By the way, also, you can't have this situation going forward where a player gets into a position that he doesn't play in because the player who plays in the position isn't good. You can't do that. You can't say McNeil should play right wing because Lindstrom doesn't offer something. You have to say, we need to buy right winger. You can't. That's what we've got to get away from. This thing of going, well, we'll play McNeil there, or we'll play him there, or whatever. You've got to get in a situation where you go, well, we need a new right winger then. Go and buy a new right winger. We have to get away from that thing of like, well, he's not playing well, so play him there. That's been a major problem.
I'm saying people will still cry when we don't win and moan. And it's like, well, there's a reason why you're not producing because you want to hold on to players who can't take you to the next level. Good managers and people who develop teams know what people's restrictions are.
And what might happen with McNeil is what we just said there is those options might become limited for him, and the manager one day might go, actually, can you play deeper for me? Because you're decent on the ball and you don't mind the tackle. So can you just play a little bit deeper for me, and you can be an option in one of those two roles? You know, that
Who knows? Who knows? Let's see what Moyes can do with him. That's the way to look at it, isn't it? But we still should always be on the lookout for better players. That we all want to be playing at the top end, don't we? So, you know, Trevor says, how can a player with no right foot be called technical? Sophie, it's the join button if you're looking for that, the YouTube membership. It's just there. Danny Chair says, I like McNeil, but there's a lot better out there if we want to move forward. Neil Rowland says, McNeil is no good in a high press. Steve P says, are there any top half teams wanting Dwight McNeil? Not a single chance. So why would we be wanting them in our first team? Everyone sees different things. I'm not telling people what you should think. I'm just saying there's nobody in Everton's team who I wouldn't replace. Nobody. Nobody. Mate, Brantwaite. They could get better than Jared Brantwaite. I'd get him. That's how your view should be. You should be looking, going, I might really like this player, but if we can get better than him, you go and get better. That's how you win things. You don't win things by going, oh, I like them and I just want to keep what we've got, but I want us to be near that. You can't. You've got to get better quality. Melvin says, I just don't think Moyes will fancy McNeil. I just don't think he's a Moyes player. Carly does. He has scored some screamers for us with that left foot. Absolutely. He's got quality. There's no doubt about it, but he's got no pace. If he had pace, he could technically be going towards those top 6 teams with the left foot and stuff. But I think you do need a right foot.
McNeil has not got the best left foot in the Premier League.
He hasn't.
No,
he hasn't.
And you've just compared them to
Kevin Sheedy in the same sentence. Come on, mate.
No.
Kevin Sheedy, one of the best left foots ever to play the game. Don't do that to Dwight.
No.
You've done Dwight dirty.
Don't do that to yourself.
You've done Dwight dirty there. Don't do that, because people will look and go, come on.
No. No.
Matthew says, we see McNeil try and do what Decore does at the start of the season, and we got walked through every week because McNeil was structurally all over the place. Yeah, listen, I think the thing with people think, oh yeah, he works his socks off because he does that false press. where he runs to 2 players dead fast for 12 seconds in a game and people clap and fall out the seat and then forget about the other 90-odd minutes. Dwight McNeil has got a lovely left foot and he's scored some tremendous goals with that left foot, and he has. And I'm quite happy for him to be in the squad and see what Moyes does with him. What we're saying is, you can't look at him and go, he definitely gets in our best 11, because he doesn't.
No.
So, if we
want to improve, like Baz just said, if we want to improve, you want to get away from loads of those players getting in our best 11. You want to get away from that. James Garner shouldn't get in our future best 11. If you want to improve Everton Football Club, you want to go to the next level. You've got to challenge a player like him, and you've got to challenge loads of these players.
You might listen. You know what? Right, it is. Sean Kelly, you're right. It's the gesture press. It's Iwobi used to do it sometimes for us. Like, you haven't been in a game, he'd like run, and like he'd stand up but run like he's really trying. And it's like, that isn't pressing, mate. Do it properly or don't bother with it. But like I said before, every player's upgradable. They're all upgradable. Otherwise, we'd be unbeaten at the top of the league and smashing everyone. So,
Thomas, McNeil, the reason Doucouré gets in the team is because he presses. He does a job. That's what I'm saying. But he also becomes 4-4-2. It's not about running around. It's about Doucouré is pressing for David Moyes. He's doing the job he's been asked to do. And that's pressing from the front, forcing the opposition to make mistakes in their back line and give the ball up in their half so we can be on the attack earlier. That's what he's asking them to do. It's a major part of the game now. Pressing in sequence. You go, you go, you go, you go. Doucouré is good at that with his energy, and because he can cover the ground really, really quick. And if that's how you're playing, then it's an important part. You want of course you want to upgrade on that, but McNeil isn't an upgrade on that because he can't cover the ground as quickly. That's factual. That's like science. So
yeah, just got to listen. Let's see. That's
exactly why I don't think he can play that role. That's what I was saying. Now, can he play go back to left midfield instead of Jack Harrison?
Jaibi, though.
No, I mean, at the moment.
He's out, yeah. He's got no knee anyway, has he? But let's see. Listen, let's see, right? Let's see what David Moyes does with him, because at the end of the day, he'll be making the decision, not us, won't he? So Moyes might be able to do put him something where else, or use the team in a different way that suits him. So that's what we need. But we need better, don't we, all over the pitch, because that's how you get better. If Dwight McNeil's a sub for Everton, then that's a sign of progress, because he was in the team every week. And that's what you'd have to try and do. Your first team is transition to being subs, and then you transition them out the door, because you're getting better and better all the time. That's how you do it. But it'd be good to have him back and being available and seeing what Moyes does. Moyes will tell you. Ian says, didn't Chimiti play some pre-season games? He played one, scored 2, and then got injured at Salford. Yeah. And that was it. Haven't seen him since. Steve P says, I'd be trying to get Chimiti a loan to Sunderland next season if they don't come up. I think he'd learn more as a striker in the Championship than he would in Europe. They also have a good young team playing good football, so it'd be a good fit. He 100% needs a full loan, and where he's going to play consistently, because he's basically lost a year of his development. Yeah. Daney says, don't think Thelwell necessarily did a bad job. We just never got to see the job he was doing under Dyche. Good luck to the guy. Worked in hard circumstances with us. Mark says, Harry Tyler might be ready for our number 2 now. He's got 3 good loans. Yeah, who knows?
And Billy Crellin
as well. Eddie says, Duke seems like a proper Evertonian. I could see him rework his contract to sign for less. Maybe. Ian says, Baz and Ped, do you think if a big offer comes in for Pickford, we'd sell, or would you let him go?
No.
I don't think he'd want to go, because there'd only be a few teams who'd come in for him, or who could come in for him that'd make him go, I want to go. Yeah. And I don't see them teams coming in for him. The only one I think the only one I could look at and go, they could, would be Chelsea.
Yeah, I think they'll go for Trafford.
But they'll probably go for...
they'll go for Trafford.
Linked with the Brighton keeper, aren't they?
Yeah.
For Bruggen.
Yeah. So I think no one will really come in for Jord where he'd go, I want to leave. I think he'll be on. He loves being Everton's
He doesn't
goalie,
seem to have,
and he loves England's
he
number one.
doesn't. He doesn't seem to he never had that sort of ambition, has he? To be like, I need to win trophies.
I think his thing's being England's number one,
Settled,
isn't it? He's settled
as a
here,
family.
and he's the England goalie. I think, and he loves Everton. He's always on about breaking Neville Southall's records and doing this and that, and that's so. Yeah. Buck says Branthwaite should be given the captaincy with a new 6-year contract. Blue Keeley.
Why just make it 10?
Blue Keeley says, I know we need loads of players in, but can't see us having a crazy summer. I think it'd have to be a slow build. Hope I'm wrong. We need at least 6 to 8 new players. Well, we need that just to have a squad, mate. So, Bainey says Garner's going to be the toughest place to replace. Then the engine on the man is something else. Blue Keeley says, which of the current 11 would you like to be moved to the bench for next season? All of them. Because it'd mean we were unbelievable. But the likes of the core, people like Harrison, if he's still here, or Lindstrom, or whatever, them Michalenko, even though he's a really good defensive left back, but that would mean you've got a better attacking one. That's how you have to piece it together. James Garner, because you've got someone who bosses it, and then Garner's got to improve to get in the team. Beto, because you've got another striker, but Beto's given a fair crack as well, not just shunned again because we're obsessed with one. That's one thing I don't want. I don't want to be obsessed with one striker like Deitch was over Dom. I want us to have 3 and go, it could be any of them, whichever one's in form. That's how the best teams operate. We've just been nailed to Dom. Got to be Dom. Everyone else sits there. That's not how good teams operate. And I want that with other players. I want us to be Ped doing his starting 11 going, this could be any of these 5 who were sat on the bench could be playing, rather than going, it'll be this. Because that is signs you've got real options. And I think got real options, you start generally winning more games with football.
Thomas, just stop. Just come down, right? Just stop. Honestly, are you related to McNeil? McNeil doesn't even get in ahead of Alcaraz, and he doesn't even get ahead of Irabunum, so stop comparing him to Corey. Jesus.
I'm sorry, I'm on Premier with that. I haven't seen what Thomas was saying.
Well, I'm with the people.
We've seen it for years with focus. Fair enough, might be able to win the ball for some mistake. Oh, is this about the Corey?
Yeah.
But hang on, I was talking to you more. Well, I'm going to say, because I literally said before, I'd let the Corey go.
Yeah.
But I want better. Surely, Thomas, you look and go, we could get a better option than Dwight McNeil. Surely. Because there's loads out there. Surely you would. You'd look and go, yeah, we'll have him. He'd be a better one.
I just think
if Matthias Cunha would come to Everton to play the 10, or Morgan Gibbs-White, would you still go with Dwight McNeil?
I just think he's the poster child for Dyche. I've always said it.
I know, but that's not that.
No,
That's not really. I'm just talking about real quality getting in. Sophie, thank you very much on the super chat. Much appreciated. Someone just said there, where are we? Paul Williams, a YouTube member, says to get up into the top half, we need to make changes, and that means losing some players that we might like or have done the job for us. That's the cost of getting better.
It is.
I always go back, right? Always go back, because why wouldn't I? To Everton winning everything 40 years ago now. Winning everything, or 2 out of the 3. And the manager sold the striker who was unbelievable, as in Andy Gray, who was the heart, like him and Reid were the heartbeat of our team. We got to the summer and went, Gary Lineker scores loads of goals, he's younger, his boss, come in, Andy Gray, thank you very much, off you pop, son. Now, there would be, like, world war. Social media would lose its mind. And yeah, Howard Kendall was like, yeah, he's better than him, so you're gone, thanks very much, you were brilliant. Come out, James, you're the new, and that was it. And a year later, he sold it. You know what I mean? That was, and Everton just went on and on. And that's how you do it. You do it. You see it with.
It's what City done, wasn't it? But then it's now what they're getting critique for because they don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like with selling like everyone.
But they just move people on, and you go, Raheem Sterling's just scored 100 goals for you in 5 seconds, and you're selling them.
And stuff.
Yeah, go on. So yeah, Gabriel Jesus, who like wins your games all. Yeah, bye. Off you go. Yeah, because we've got better, mate. We're getting it. That's how you improve all the time. That's what it's about. And No, you're right, Tom. And no one, to be honest, I don't know whether Ped actually said he's getting rid of Dwight McNeil.
Oh, I'd sell him. I'd sell him.
I know, but you... Okay. You're right. Listen, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens.
I'm not getting rid of everyone all at once, by the way. I'm just selling Dwight McNeil. Nobody else.
Let's see what the manager does. The manager's really good at squeezing every last drop out of players. He's repurposed some players in the past where you've gone, he hasn't got it, and then the manager's got a way of playing with him. And other ones you think he's just got rid of. So just leave it to me. I trust the manager. I don't even need to worry about it anymore because I trust the last manager. It wouldn't have got on the line in our Sunday League team as an advisor to our kids of how to pick a ball up or how to throw a ball or kick a ball. But David Moyes, I trust. So we'll see what he does. We see what he does. Like last couple on Premier because we've done longer than I expected to. Nathan says, do you see James Garner becoming a 6? I feel like he has the energy and control, likes to tackle and is good with the tempo. What do you think? I think Garner's a good player. He is getting better, I think. Is he good? I don't know.
Don't really play with the number 6 though, do we?
But we probably need to.
Play with 2, don't we? So, he's I don't know. He's a decent player, James Garner, because he knows how to play that role.
He can pick a pass.
He's adapted really well. He's adapted really well to that role, and he's come in seamlessly. What I'd say. So, and that's why I said, could Dwight McNeil play in that role? Rather than because you can.
Do you see him and Dwight McNeil as a double?
No, I don't think you could have both of them. But I'm saying if you were going to play Dwight McNeil in any role in the team, I could see him going back rather than forward because I don't think he's got the pace to play in those front rows. But I do think he's the type of player who could take the ball off your centre backs. Dwight McNeil. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to move him into a position, that's the play. That's the you'd move him backwards rather than where there's less pressure. You can keep the ball better.
Unless you play the flat 3. And he sort of played off the left of the midfield because that's where he was. That's essentially Dwight's put him out wide, but he was a central midfield player as obviously part of it. A lot of people playing 4-3-3 played as one of the 3 midfield players because he didn't have the pace. That's why they put him there.
But as I said, if you're going to play him somewhere, and James Garner doesn't have loads of pace, but he can. Number one, he's
can't get about the pitch.
He can spot and that doesn't require pace such. He's good at picking a pass, but he's also good at sensing danger as well.
Yeah. He was a 10 of Forest, wasn't he? He was a 10 of Forest.
But
that's what I'm saying.
That's because he's a young player.
He's gone backwards rather than forwards. He's been adapted because he's an intelligent footballer, so he's adapted. And now that's what I'm saying. Dwight McNeil is more of that kind of player. He's not someone I think can play in the final third these days, the way football has gone. And I think you can play almost like that quarterback role from that position because he's got a good left foot. So if he was going to play anyway, that's who he'd play. But I think I don't know whether Garner's got the physical package to play on his own as a number 6. I think that's the only thing.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing with McNeil is if you bought a left back who flew up and down the line, then you probably would get away with him on the left. As in, because he'd have to run it, so therefore he wouldn't be expected, and he can try, someone to go and open it up for him. Then you could have Njai in the 10, committing. Do you know what I mean? And running up defenders either way and then sliding people through or getting shots away. You've still got. So there is. David Moyes will make the decision, won't he, ultimately?
He's done well with like Lindstrom and stuff, hasn't he? So hopefully he can do the same with Dwight McNeil.
Everyone's improved under Moyes. Everyone. You haven't looked at anyone here since Moyes come in and gone. He was probably better under Dyche, wasn't he?
Probably younger.
Chris Davies on the Super Chat says, all right, lads, what memento do you reckon we can realistically take away from Goodison at the last game versus Southampton?
What Chris wants to take?
No, what do you think we...
Or the club?
Everyone... No, what we can take? I'm not sure I'm legally allowed to answer that question.
Don't know, mate.
I think a few people would like to take their seats. And I know
I imagine people will be trying to take the pitch.
And I know a few people have mentioned that maybe that's why it was put out there that maybe the Everton women's team are moving there. But I do think people will try and take their seats because what else? This is the thing, right? What else are they going to do with those seats other than try and sell them back to us?
They are going to try and sell them to you.
They'll try and sell them back. And I just think if thousands of people turn up and go, no, I'm having my old faded plastic. Because by the way, the other thing about it is like in the Gather Street, the seat, as in the back and the front, are attached to a long metal strip. So it's not like I can take the metal strip with me.
No.
It's only the plastic bit that I can take. I'd have to buy my own, which I've already started researching. So, and also
For a friend.
No, just in general.
Yeah,
I'm just in generally just trying to see where you can buy those metal bits from, just in case.
For a friend.
Just in case, like, things just fall into my hands on the day.
I thought you were Googling how to dismantle one of those seats.
Goes in with a screwdriver.
I mean, if anyone does know what screwdriver,
What size?
because you don't want to take a full lot, do you? Do you know what I mean? You just want to take that one. But I'm sure someone will take one and we'll just pass it around. But I can imagine by the time people leave that stadium, the half of that stadium, the job will have been done for the club. But the same with the pitch, right? So I used to go to this. I used to go to this men's health training thing in the back of the park end in the little Everton community thing. We used to do it every week. Sound. And we used to do it through the summer. And they started, one year they were doing the pitch. And there was just a big mound of the pitch.
Yeah.
So I just went over it and got rolls and rolls and rolls, threw them in my boot and took them home and laid like part of me back garden with them.
Yeah,
it was like, they were all just getting lashed.
In my other house, before we moved years ago, so when I was there, my garden was literally Goodison Park.
Yeah. So it's not
given all the pitch. And
so it's not like, you know, I imagine, unless Everton, but then if Everton are going to do something with it, I think me and John were talking about this yesterday off camera, it's like, it's March, lads. What are we doing? Yeah. What's the plan? Remember the plan at the beginning of the season when we were having Dennis Stachylesi over? I know that didn't work. But what's the plan? What are we looking at doing?
Anything, is there?
What are we looking at doing?
I think now you can do it. Whereas this is what we said at the time. It was too early. The guests weren't brilliant. And you had a manager who was talking it down at every opportunity.
Do you think if they advertise something now because there is more positivity that people will go?
I think you can start saying, we're doing this in.
Because when Everton are bad, no
we're having a couple of events in. Yeah, but don't forget, everybody was starting to feel like it was a bind going there because of the manager.
Yeah.
It was all on the manager. The team wasn't winning, and he was saying things like, the ground doesn't make the players.
You're not getting into the ground with a hacksaw. You're just not.
Hacksaw,
You're not getting in with a hacksaw. I think
if he does as well.
That's on the prohibited list. You're not getting in with an angle grinder.
No.
Imagine the sparks just going.
Just working away, welding in the corner.
That'd be hilarious.
Just there, welding. Roderick says, I absolutely adore Pickford in my opinion. Two things: saved us twice from relegation and Pickford in the fans. That Chelsea save will live rent-free in my head. It's an unbelievable
save. The Leicester save's like literally one of the most important saves in the history of Everton Football Club. That penalty save is one of the most.
So was the Chelsea one though?
No, I know, but the Leicester one was like...
2 on the run, didn't he? 2 years on the run. 2 moments. Jake says, Branthwaite, the armband, new contract and new number 5.
He's right.
Jake says, McNeil is the English Billy Eletanov.
It's a good point.
McNeil, not a bad player, but he was one of Numbnut's love child. That's why he got on the side. Mark says McNeil will be a great NFL kicker.
Yo, you can have a different opinion from me, but it doesn't mean I'm going to agree with your opinion, is it? We all have our own opinions, and is whether you've got the bollocks to stick to it, and I have got the bollocks. And I've also got the mic as well.
McNeil, Bainey says McNeil's a good player, but he doesn't suit the style. We're unbeaten in, 7 now? He's not getting in this side, but it's ideal to come on as a sub. Benjamin says, I'd get rid of McNeil and put the money back in the pot. He's far too slow.
What, like in bed?
And one-footed. Back in the bed, or the hen, whatever it was, yeah. Eddie says, I feel we'll eventually go to a back 3 and McNeil could play in instead of Michalenko.
But he'd still be slow. You need pace on the wings.
He'd higher up the pitch, though, wouldn't he?
But you need pace, don't you, on the wings?
Gary says McNeil is a squad guy now.
Yeah, and that's it. I asked, my question was, where does he get in the team? That's what my question was.
He's a squad player, and that's good. Yeah. That's good, because he was a first team in the squad, and that's the same. And if the core, that's how the core should be phased out. If you could get some, I mean, I love Idrissa, but if you could get someone better than Idrissa, then Idrissa should be phased out and onto the bench, because that would mean Everton are getting better and better. That's all we want, isn't it? We all want the same thing. Whichever sort of way you go about it and go, well, I like this player and you don't like him, or what, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, when we meet at the top, we all want Everton to be doing what they're doing now, which is winning games and scoring goals. The same as someone just mentioned Ben Godfrey.
Yeah.
Right? People were moaning about Ben Godfrey leaving. Some weren't and some were. People were like, what are we doing? It's like, this is a lad who best games for Everton Football Club were at full-back. Even last season when he come in, you know, had some cracking games at full-back. Went to Italy. They shipped him off to Ipswich. Ipswich is dreadful and he can't get in.
By the way, everyone should be really grateful that he went to Atlanta anyway.
Oh,
that
no,
money
absolutely.
was
Yeah.
massively important for us in the summer. So
it meant we could tell Man U where to go.
That was massively important, that money. So I will always have a little place in my heart for Ben Godfrey because of that.
He was a good squad player as well for Everton.
He was all right.
He done a job.
The whole back line.
He done a job, didn't he? He done a job. He
was never a starting player.
You know, well, he just never developed. When he come in, you were going, I could see him. He was dead pacey and he's strong, tacky. You were going, he could be brilliant, and he just never developed. And that might have been, that was probably a bit of Everton. Yeah. Also injury. He had a couple of bad injuries, don't forget.
He had like long COVID and stuff.
And then he had that, which ruined him. Yeah. So, Matthew Williams says, you say you couldn't get a hacksaw in the ground, but remember that fella offering the stewards a literal knife to get the protector off the goalpost?
True, yeah. That is true.
Yeah. Strength and Honour says our end goals are the same, even if some people disagree how we get there through it. Yeah, that's all it is. We all want the same thing, and that's why you have to sort of respectfully agree or disagree and go, all right, but we do all want the same thing, don't we? I think Belinda Carlisle said it best when she said we dream the same dream. We want the same things. Check it out if you haven't listened to that.
James, that's at the top of his list.
That's James, just like that now. Belinda Carlisle.
I had to Google a lot of stuff yesterday. And very confusing.
Yeah.
There you go.
He was loving it though. Bit of bag push.
Who doesn't love a bit of bag push?
He thought that was something they sold on street corners.
Fair play. Maybe they do where there's no bins.
No. The streets have no bins. Where the streets have no bins. That was a great song by you two.
It was a great song. It was a good song. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, keep subscribing to More Than a Game and Inside the Game. Beautiful people.
Are you going to put any content on it?
There will be soon, yeah.
Okay. I'm asking the questions
Friday's
that the people
the first
want.
live show.
I'm asking the questions people want to know about.
No one thought that though, did he? No one knew that. Friday the 1st.
No, because no one told them.
No, because I've just literally decided then.
I didn't know you.
I've literally just decided then.
James is like, oh God, I've got to do thumbnails now.
That's easy. It's easy. Right, last refresh on what I'm called. Premiere. Whenever it will link over.
Listen, Dwight McNeil's
What
ears
about Ipswich last night?
are only burning because he's in the Miami sun.
That's good. Benjamin James says, horses for courses. McNeil fitted into the Dyche side, but no way does he fit into a Moyes side. Jake Ablett says, that Thomas Gravison night, I think everyone thought at first it was a last match at Goodison with the likes of Cale, Baines and others, and then it was absolutely underwhelming night instead.
Yeah, listen, I can't believe that Everton haven't got plans for May the 14th. I can't. I
have, because my missus and yours.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm 15. Sorry, I was thinking.
There you go.
I'm staggered that Everton haven't got something. But and I already seen that half of the team were in on one do and half the team were in another do. That's just, I can't believe that. It's the 40th anniversary, and it's the end of Goodison Park. Honestly, that just like, it's like that thing, and in the middle there's bags and bags and bags and bags of money, and honestly, it sends my head west, as they say.
But that's what it does.
Honestly, the end of Goodison, 40th anniversary of
synergy,
winning the European Cup Winners' Cup. What could if we bring them together? Maybe we could have Scrooge McDuck's fucking swimming pool. Anyway. I digress.
Mark Mack says 40,000 fans dressed as Bob the Builder on that last game. Brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant.
Liam, I don't think that joke's as funny as you thought it was.
I haven't read it, but fair play. How do you know Liam thought it was that funny?
Because he's put 3 laughing emojis.
That's all he might think. For him, he might be really amused by it, and I like that. Backing himself. And I've got a lot of time. You've got to back yourself sometimes. And I think Liam's done that. He's backed himself.
I just like the fact that we've got a subscriber called Strength and Honour, and I honestly, all I can picture him is him sitting there in his gladiator costume.
I hope he is.
Getting dirt off the ground and rubbing it in his hands as before he writes.
I hope he is.
Semi-charm life says Scrooge McDuck has entered the chat.
I love it.
Fair play.
I love it. Yeah, but there you go.
Thanks, Mark G. You have a great rest of your day also.
Absolutely. And why wouldn't you? Right. Cheers, people. Thank you very much for all joining us. It's been fun.
Yes.
It's been fun.
Don't take it all massively seriously either.
No. It was a conversation, that was all.
It was definitely a conversation.
Just basically, it's been great on a Tuesday when there's nothing really to discuss.
This is what we do.
At the moment. So,
This is what we do.
We'll all be sort of building up to Wolves away at the weekend.
Why is McNeil sitting in a Spider-Man suit?
In New York.
What's going on there?
He's just sitting there, spideyed up.
Why though?
Why not?
I mean, why not? Fair play, but why? Why? Okay.
I mean, Moonhunt says he's watching from Tromsø, Norway. Love that.
Is he their local superhero? Moonhunt.
Moonhunt?
I hunt when the moon comes out. Obviously, he says it in Norwegian, and it'll be a little bit more like
dramatic
because it's in Norwegian, isn't it?
A bit more of the.
I have not seen the sun in 300 days.
Strength and Honour says more like Rodney off when we feel some horses.
Fair play.
He still could wear a gladiator outfit. Not none with that.
Fair play.
Is there? Why not? Right. Well done, everyone.
Pete says, do you think I will get in with a generator and cutting equipment? Like Hank Scorpio?
I'm going to say no off the top of my head. Don't take that as a definite answer. I'd just be a little bit surprised if you get in with the generator and some cutting gear.
Yeah. Wayne R says Scrooge McDuck and Belinda Carlisle in the same conversation. Well, I didn't expect that today. Well, you should.
You didn't have that on your Toffee TV Daily Live bingo, did you?
Blockmuse says Spider Neil does what a spider player does. I mean, it doesn't really work, but I like the fact that you put effort in.
Done it. Spider McNeil. Spider McNeil.
He hasn't even put McNeil on. He's put Spider Neil.
He's just called
He's left
Neil,
the Mac out.
Maybe he's talking about
Scrooge.
Can we have return of the Mac?
Scrooge McNeil.
Works in the bath. Diving in. Why not?
Diving in into the still bath.
Just there.
Shorts only.
Shorts only. Playing for England.
I'm not Mark.
Ruben's watching in college.
What college though?
I don't know. He didn't say. Ruben, are you related to David? And his name's Ruben Hillier. Remember him? David Hillier. Arsenal. Just tell us very quickly before we go what college you're watching in.
Mark Cody says Pedro Crackers. Lol. I don't think I'm crackers. I just know how to work the audience up to a fever. Up to a fever to get people angry and then throw in. Well, that's all it is, isn't it?
It's one way of putting it.
I'm just really good at getting people.
He's Toffee TV's Adrian Durham.
I'm just really good at getting people to comment. That's why I avoid votes at all cost and get the people to comment.
Mm-hmm. Basic 6 gone for oxyacetylene torch. Anyone?
Ruben says he's studying music in St Helens College. Yeah, that's not. We thought you were like in Yale or Harvard or somewhere.
Yeah,
like in proper college with preppy clothes and basic just girls hanging off you, and you got a scholarship because you know how to play fine music.
We've lost him.
He's gone. He's gone. Sophie's watching from Wavertree. Love it, Sophie. Celtic Fate's watching from the planet.
Are we doing this again?
I don't know.
Are we doing this again?
Why
don't you tell us what the weather's like?
Hide the tea and biscuits.
Why?
Don't know.
I don't drink tea.
Not sure. Andrew S says really fancy us against Wolves. I'd be disappointed if we lost. I'm always disappointed if we lose, to be fair. But yeah, we've got an opportunity, especially with Cunha being out, we've got an opportunity to go there and slam them where the sun don't shine. So let's hope we do. And then build up to the West Ham game and beat them as well. The Potter derby. Shove it down your throat, Potter.
Is it? Wouldn't it be more like the Moyes derby?
Yeah. Want to be there singing Davy Moyes. Just bouncing round on the West Ham fans like. Remember when we moaned because he didn't play football the same way as when we won the World Cup all those years ago.
Greg, if you're a 5-minute walk from Finch Farm, then you're basically a 5-minute walk from where we are.
Depending which way though to Finch Farm is he?
Yeah, you could be.
You could be in the middle.
You could be in Hale. You big Tory.
Thomas
with your massive child.
Thomas, he's not Gary Barlow, is he? Thomas said 5 finals left. Goodison. Let's win all 5. Win all 5. I'm more worried about it switching Southampton than I am City and Arsenal. Put it that way. Right, we're going. Philip says we'll be all having pancakes tonight. I'm out, so no, but I'll probably have them tomorrow. Right, I'm going. Take it easy. Have a great afternoon. See you later.
Bye.